night. We're going to be doing Wednesday night for the next, till I believe November the 3rd, because of conflict schedules I have. So tune in on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. from now on, not Tuesday night. We'll be doing that. We also want to tell you that not only is this streaming live on Facebook, but it's also streaming live on YouTube. If you will go to YouTube and type in Arthur Horn, it will come up. My YouTube channel will come up, and you can listen to it on YouTube live, or you can listen to it later because it will be recorded. But if you do listen to it on YouTube, I would appreciate if you would go to the subscribe button and click subscribe to our channel, and also click the like button on our YouTube channel. We would appreciate it because we have big plans for YouTube, and we need to get 1,000 subscribers. So any friends that you may have, they don't necessarily have to look at the video, but if they would just access our YouTube account, then click subscribe and like. We would appreciate it, and it would help us out to reach more people with help that they need for their homelessness, their substance abuse, their mental distress issues, PTSD, those type of things. And we would appreciate if you would help us in those areas. So God bless you on that. Excuse me. We talk about the Joyous app every week, and we would love for you to go online to the App Store and download the Joyous app. It is an app for people with anxiety, mental distress issues, PTSD, all the things that create issues in our life. It will help you in that. You can journal in it. You can, they have over 500 videos of different things like anxiety and distress and different areas, PTSD, as I said, and all those things. The short videos, 3 to 5 minutes, that you can watch to help you out. And also, if you would, when it asks you when you download the app, if it will ask you and put in COVID-19, and that way Making Dreams Real will get credit for you accessing this app. You will remain anonymous. It is totally HIPAA compliant, so we will never know who you are. We will only be able to see the data that you have used using this app. So let's get going here tonight. All right. I told you last week that we were going to start a series on what is home. We're going to start a series on a somewhat of a narrative soap opera. We're not going to have actors at this point, but if you would like to become an actor with us, we're going to start a soap opera that is going to be produced and videoed and put out online on YouTube. And so if you would like to participate in that, if you know how to do cameras, if you know how to write scripts, if you know how to do those things, we would appreciate if you would contact us, and we will sign you up for that, and we will get started on that right after the first year, sometime in January. And we have a place that we're going to film it. We have a stage, and we're going to have lighting and all those kind of things. And so we would appreciate if you want to participate at any level, if you want to build sets or whatever you want to do, or just come and be an audience. We would love to have you be with us in that endeavor. Okay, so we're talking about what is home. Let's start out with the question, is your life a question? Is your life a tragedy, a horror, or a disaster, or a comedy? Or is your life a life of action? Are you one of those persons that is cannot be still, and you are always full of energy and full of trying to do things, and so your life is just a life of action. You can't sit down. You got to straighten everything up. Your OCD, and so if that's your life, that's the way it is. Or is your life a drama? I know a lot of people that they live their life as a drama, and if there's not any drama going on, they create some drama at some level, in some way. Or is your life a romance? Are you a romantic person? How many of you guys out there that take your wife out on a date once a month, wine and dine her, buy her flowers, romance her, and keep your marriage very active and fresh? And ladies love to be romanced, so make your life a romance. Or is your life a thriller? Do you do things that make your life a thrill? Do you ride motorcycles fast? Do you race cars? Do you dive off high diving boards? Do you parachute? Do you do all kind of different things that make your life a thriller? And so is that. Is your life a mystery that not too many people can really know about you? And you keep your life somewhat of a mystery for everybody, and people look at you and they see a mystery. How many enjoy a good mystery movie that you can't figure it out and doing that? So, what is your life? Can you answer that question? Of all the things I went over, what is your life? Maybe it's a combination. Think about it a minute. To decide what your life is. There's a story of a man that he was a workaholic. He had two children. One of them was 6 years old. The other one was, I think, 4 years old. His wife, and he worked all the time. When he come home, his phone constantly rang. He was always texting. He was always sending emails. He hardly ever could relax or sit down with his family and enjoy his family, enjoy his children. He could hardly ever do that. His wife felt like she was a person that really didn't even have a husband. He was a body. He came in the house occasionally. He sat down and ate with them, but he was not ever present. So she asked him, would you do me a favor? And she asked him this question. Let's go on a vacation. And one of the things I want you to do when we go on this vacation is tell everybody at your office that you're not going to be available unless it's a major, major disaster in your company. So he agreed to that, and they scheduled a vacation. And as they were leaving the house and going down the highway to their destination, his phone rang. And even though he had promised his wife that he would not answer the phone, he did look down at his phone and picked it up. And this really irritated her, and so she looked out the window, her window, so she couldn't see him because she was totally frustrated with him. And as he was looking at his phone, he swerved out of his lane on the highway and was hit in the side of his car by another oncoming vehicle. His two young children were in the back seat in car seats, and the one that was on the left side was tragically killed in that accident. And although his wife didn't verbally blame him for that, he blamed himself for the loss of his child because of his actions. It may not have been totally his fault, but because of his actions and his breaking of promises, he lost his child. And several years later, he was talking to some people about the accident and about what happened that day and how he still was so guilty and still the child. Uh, there was a just totally empty place in his heart, and he thought all the time about this young child that he had. They would have been, I think it was a young man. They could have been a football player. He could have went to their games. They could have went fishing together. They could have rode motorcycles. They could have done all kind of things. But his child was gone. And one day this person was complaining to him and telling them that I have this son that's 14 years old, and he is totally addicted to drugs. All the issues that come with drug addiction was in this child's life of this person, and they were so frustrated. They were upset because they couldn't do anything about it. And he looked them in the eye and he said, I wish I had a child that was addicted, that I could even connect with at some level, because my child is gone and they're not here at all. And you are so privileged to have a child at any level, whether they're addicted, have mental health issues, whatever it is. You're so privileged and blessed to have a child, because my child is gone. So sometimes we don't look at things as a blessing, because we only look at them as the movies I was talking about. We only look at them as a disaster, as a tragedy, or as a horror film. So can you stop a moment and look at the blessing it is to have a child? Let's go back to what I said when we started, that we were going to be talking about what is a home. What is a home? I was talking to an individual the other night. We were texting back and forth. This individual I've known since they were 2 years old. They were born into a totally dysfunctional family. This person, her dad committed incest with her, totally destroyed her life in many senses of the word. He was also mentally and physically violent. He beat his spouse, he beat his wife. She spent a lot of time in the crisis center because of the violence that was in their home. And this man would go into rages and do all these horrible things to his family. And as I was talking to this individual about that, and we were talking about, and I asked her this question: what is home? She did not have the answer. She had never experienced what we would call home. She was in a house. There was a mother there, a biological mother, that was totally hooked on drugs also, totally addicted. She had a biological father that was violent and did all kind of horrible things to her from the time she was about 3 years old. So I asked her, what is home? She said, I don't know. I don't know what home is. So my question to you, have you experienced home? What is home to you? I read one definition that said home is a place where it feels safe and comfortable and loving. That was the definition of home that I read. But this individual had never experienced that, never experienced a safe place, never experienced comfortableness, never experienced love, just violence and drama and horror and tragedy. And he just totally messed her life. And she is at the point trying to salvage her life at this time in her life. So she asked me the same question, what is home? I could not really say. I mean, I was raised in a wonderful place. I had wonderful parents. They were both loving. I was the youngest of 3 children. My older sister left home. She was 14 years older than I was, so I never really got to know her till later in life. But I had a loving home, everything provided for. My mother was a great cook and my dad loved me. He took me hunting, fishing, and we went camping, and we did all the things that a family would do. I lived in a peaceful home. Never did my dad ever raise his voice to me, so it was a very comfortable existence. My dad, to tell you his story, his dad was born, my dad was born in 1909, and his dad was, I don't remember what year he was born in the 1800s, but his dad never really was successful in any sense of the word, and he was a sharecropper back in his day, and Dad had to work. He had 7 brothers. No, he had 10 brothers and sisters, and so it was quite crowded in their house, and they were very, very poor, and lived out on a sharecropper. They had some cows and horses and chickens and all those things, and my dad only got to the 8th grade, so he never really experienced what home was. He had a place to live. But when he was 13 years old, his dad had gotten in debt to a guy that owned a grocery store, I believe it was, in Waco, Texas. So my father's dad, my grandpa didn't have the funds to pay him off. So he actually sold my dad to this man to work off his debt at 13 years old. So he had to go there and actually become a slave to this man until I don't know how long it took him to work off the debt. But one thing that did to my dad, he was so easy on me because of the tragedy that happened in his life, and he did not want me to experience that issue, that tragedy or horror of being a slave to somebody when you're 13 years old. So what is home? What is home to you? I didn't get very far, but I want to tell you one more little story. There was a guy driving down a highway here in our community several years ago, and as he was driving down the highway, just like we all normally do, there was a lady sitting in the middle of the highway, crying, just sitting there. He pulled his vehicle over and got out of his vehicle and went over to her and asked her, what is wrong? How can I help you? Through the tears and the choked voice that she had, she finally got out her story that she had a lot of mental distress, anxiety, all kind of different issues in her life. And she had no place to go, no place to live. And she was having a meltdown, a mental health meltdown. So she had went to a local hospital, to the emergency room for help. and they turned her away and said, we're not going to help you. We have no means to help you. So they just turned her away and told her to leave the premises. So this lady that was in total tragic meltdown was just totally rejected and told to go away when she had no place to go. She didn't even have a house. She didn't even have a house. So what is a home? This man called around, called me, called some other people. He tried to find some resources for this lady. He could find none. He could not find any help for her at that moment. So there she was, turned away from the hospital, turned away from any resources, had a person that was trying to help her, did not know really what to do. I don't remember what he did, but could not find any resources. So she not only did not have a house, she did not have a home. She did not have a friend. She did not have any family to go to. Only a stranger stopped and was attempting to help her. So where are you at tonight? What is your status tonight? Do you have a house to live in? Are you homeless? Do you have a home? Do you know what a home is? We're going to be starting this soap opera story next week, and we would love for you to tune in. We're going to talking about being homeless. How many have ever heard the song "The Green Green Grass of Home"? About a man that it's based on a 1951 movie. I forget the name of the movie. This man was in a jail cell that was gray, surrounded by gray walls, dreaming of home where his parents lived, and talking about the green, green grass of home. And the story is that he finally got home, but he had to die to get there. He went home in a coffin. He never got to experience home again, except in his death. So I don't want you to commit suicide. I don't want you to think about suicide. No matter how tragic your circumstances are, you have a future. And if you take yourself out, you may stop the present. The tragedy of your past might be overwhelming you, but you have a future. There was a person that I read about recently that had a child that died some time ago. He and his wife were on and off, and she became pregnant again, and they were so ecstatic about that because they had lost a child. She miscarried. He tried to kill himself. I did not get to talk to him, but here's the answer. If he takes himself out, or you take yourself out, there would never be another child and their family from him. He would never experience having another child born into his family. He would never experience raising a new baby, raising another child, taking them to school, taking them swimming, taking them hiking, camping, taking them to Brahms, the Dairy Queen. He would never experience that if he took himself out, because he could not have another child. So your future awaits you. If you feel like you can't go on, call a hotline somewhere or call us at 903-436-8816. I love you. Have a wonderful evening, and tune in next week again at 6:30 on Wednesday night. It's time to go again. I'm sorry that we got to go, but I love you. Come by and see us at 220 Sunset Boulevard in Westwood Village, across from the Dairy Queen. God bless you. I love you. May God go with you.